Hello, I am Teresa. I'm Solsharia in the Discord, one of the kanji organizers here. And this panel is a collaboration between me and Amy Kiara. We worked on this together. She's going to mostly be off screen for this, looking at the Twitch for you guys, but she definitely was an instrumental part in putting this together, including making my slideshow look super pretty, which was not something I was going to do. But yes, welcome to the last unicorn panel. It's called We Have Regrets because it's a reference to the film. If you have not seen the film, that is okay. You are still welcome here. You don't need to have seen the film in order to enjoy alcohol or our shenanigans. Also, we will give you a little bit of information about the film as we go through. So first, you want to go to the next slide? Some disclaimers. So, Dart, you are listening, right?
I am listening. I haven't left the space yet.
Excellent. We wanted to make sure you were here for this part this time. Dart had regrets last time as a result of not being here for this part of the talk. So, first of all, we are going to be making a series of 5 cocktails today. And amongst these 5 cocktails, there's about 8 shots of alcohol. So share with a friend. I'm going to be sharing with Kia, or, choose which ones to drink. Some of them can be made virgin, so make your decisions. We, kanji, will not be responsible for anyone making poor choices after drinking all of the drinks. Yes, we may have sent Dart a shot glass so that she could measure her alcohol. Free pouring, not recommended. Also, the drinks won't taste as good as if you free pour, because we've done a lot of test sampling to get to this point.
Regrets were made last year. That's all I have to say.
We are really excited to be here, not the least of which because we really enjoy making fancy cocktails and drinking alcohol. We also really enjoy The Last Unicorn. So there will be mild spoilers for the movie. The movie's from the 80s, so their statute of limitations is a bit out on it. But if anyone hasn't seen it, you can still watch. Don't worry, we won't spoil anything. Also, where have you been? Go watch the movie. It's really good. The drinks will be based on characters, and we have a slideshow to give you a bit of an introduction to the characters as we go through. Kia is going to be watching the Twitch chat for me, so I can answer any questions, so feel free to shout at us as we go through our presentation. Okay, I think we are ready to get started. So, our first character that we designed a drink for is Schmendrick the Magician. Schmendrick the Magician is a character who is on the journey with the unicorn. He is a magician, as the name implies. Not potentially a great magician, but he's working on it. We all know how hard it is to gain skills. And for this cocktail, our main inspiration, so we have this lovely glass that is pretty magic-y. And the main thing we were going for with this particular drink was just blue. You can see his very classic blue robe. We also wanted it to not be too strong because he's not that hardcore. And also we wanted it to be a little bit sweet because he's got a really soft heart. So to start with, we are going to start with the blue part. So this is blue curacao. We've got 1 ounce of blue curacao here. We're going to add that to the drink. By the way, I've pre-measured so that I don't have to spend a bunch of time measuring for you, just like on all of those cooking shows. Next, we are going to go with 1 ounce of peach schnapps to add a nice amount of sweetness to this. So we'll add our peach schnapps. Then I'm going to just go over here. We are going to add a little bit of lime juice to offset a little bit of that sweetness. Lime juice is a really great way to open up a lot of cocktails. We have unicorn-shaped ice cubes, which is why they were still in the freezer and not sitting on the counter, so that they would still be unicorn shaped by the time we got to this point. We like to squeeze our limes and freeze the juice because it just makes it so much easier to make cocktails. What we are going to add to this is a little bit of soda water to give it a little bit of fizz and just top up the volume and make it all nice and potion-y. So we'll put in about 3 of those. Oh, 3 might not quite fit. The shot glass is a little bigger than I was using the other day. And there you have it, the Schmendrick. You can see it has fulfilled our criteria of being nice and blue. It's also a fairly tropical drink, pretty easy to drink. Extra shots of club soda, and it's fine. Yes, and so, yep, perfect. And says sure. Club soda. So that's the Schmendrick, our first drink. Do you want to hit the button? Go to the next slide, please. Thank you, helpful, beautiful assistant. So the next character that we're going to talk about is Molly Grew. So this is the other person who travels with the unicorn on her journey. She is a little bit jaded, but also has a really sweet heart. And so we're going to use our fancy congee glass for this one. This drink, what we were going for with Molly Grew was a bit of a brown drab profile color scheme aesthetic, but something with a little bit of a kick to it. And we heard about this drink called Athelbros, which is a Scottish drink that is based on the water from your oatmeal in the morning that you add scotch to. And we will go Google it. There is like contention about where this drink came from and what it is used for. We heard about it at a Christmas party and thought, that sounds just about perfect. Scotch and oats, we're on it. So for this one, we have 2 ounces of oat milk. And if you're going for something with a little bit less alcohol, you can have this recipe, because the next thing we're going to add is 2 ounces of scotch. And I went to the liquor store and bought a blended scotch for this. I didn't want to use my good scotch on a mixed drink. We also tried this drink with bourbon and rye. Those both work well as well. The bourbon makes it a little sweeter. The rye makes it a little sharper, but the scotch is actually quite nice in it. So the scotch we ended up getting that is actually pretty good is this Valentine's scotch. So that one's a Co-op liquor store, which is an Alberta thing. So I don't know where to tell you guys to go for that, but I'm enjoying it. Then we're going to add a little bit of honey. I think I'm going to need a spoon for that. We're going to add a little bit of honey just to offset some of the sharpness of that scotch. So about a teaspoon of honey, as it says on that recipe card there. And give it a good stir so the honey blends in. You could shake this as well to get the honey off, like to get the honey mixed in properly, but I'm going to keep the shaker clean for one of the later drinks, so that's the main reason I'm not using a shaker to do this. That's probably good enough. And then the last thing we're going to add, this is an alcohol called Becherovka. It is the national alcohol of the Czech Republic, and I got it from a coworker as a housewarming gift at one point, and have been looking for fun things to do with it ever since, because it's very herbal, it's very medicinal, and it's a little hard to just drink it. My beautiful assistant likes to drink it when she is sick and put it in tea, and it tastes very medicinal. I doubt it actually has any medicinal qualities to it. Jaeger is an acceptable substitute, but we do quite like the Becherovka taste in this as well. So we're going to add that to it. And there's other herbal liqueurs too. Europe, Eastern Europe in particular, seems to really love their herbal liqueurs. So Jaeger's the one that is most commonly made it over here, but I understand that most countries have their own version. So there we go, the Molly Brew. This is pretty much exactly the color aesthetic that we were going for with Molly Brew, and it also tastes pretty strong, just like Molly Brew is.
We're a little too far forward.
All right, put that over here with the Schmendrick on the side. Yeah, you can go to the next slide.
Oh, no.
You went too far. Oh no. So you put these unicorn ice cubes sort of in my, okay, it's okay. We have more unicorn ice cubes here.
Put one in the Schmendrick. Let's pour the Schmendrick.
Oh, put one in the Schmendrick? Okay. I'll put one in the Molly Brew too. The milk got a little warm while it was waiting for the panel to start. Okay, our next character is Prince Lear. Now, Prince Lear is a prince. He's the son of the bad guy, but he doesn't really understand that his dad is a bad guy. And he's pretty much the most naive person in the whole movie. He's pretty much a sweetheart and a bit of a punching bag. And again, has a very brown palate. So this is our mocktail. There's no alcohol in this one, so feel free to go ahead and make this one, even if you're not drinking. Sorry?
Right at the last light thing.
So for this one, we're going to use a martini glass because when this is finished being made, it's going to look like a chocolatini, but it has absolutely no alcohol in it. So we are going to start with some milk. If you want to make it dairy-free, you can use the oat milk that we used earlier. Just going to pull some of these in the spoon. So we are going to start with some milk. I'm going to put the milk in first so I make sure I don't overfill this glass. We're all good. So that's about half a cup of milk. And then we are going to add some maple syrup or some chocolate syrup. So any chocolate syrup will work well in this, but we're actually using a chocolate syrup that is a product of a friend of ours who is around Kanji somewhere. They have a website where they're selling sort of a chocolate paste, and then you turn it into a chocolate syrup, and it's quite good. So we're going to use that here. And looks like we didn't add the website. We're really bad at doing shout outs apparently because we didn't even put the website on the slide, but we will put the website in the Twitch chat here in a second. I'm just going to use the spoon to get the rest of that out. But your typical chocolate syrup will work just as well for this. So Hershey's syrup, the stuff we're using is intended for hot chocolate, not for making chocolate milk. The next thing we're going to add to this is a little bit of maple syrup, just to, in case the chocolate syrup wasn't sweet enough for you. So we're adding about half a teaspoon of maple syrup. Oh, half a tablespoon. Sorry, reading my own recipe wrong. And then we're going to add about half a teaspoon of cinnamon to it. And give that a bit of a stir because the cinnamon will not dissolve. So you've got to kind of whip it. Again, shaking this would probably be a good idea, but I'm going to keep the shaker for the next drink. Ah. And there you have it. Oh, wait, I'm going to add some vanilla too. I just forgot to get it out earlier. Sorry for being off screen here. Enjoy my lovely kitchen. I'm just going to free pour a little bit of vanilla. Don't free pour your alcohol, only free pour your vanilla. Stir that up a bit more. There we go. My cinnamon's mostly still wanting on top, but that's okay. And this drink is delicious and way too easy to drink. So enjoy. So there, that's the Prince Lear. again, has that brown palate we're going for, and is nice and sweet and has absolutely no kick to it at all because there's no alcohol in it at all. I'm enjoying the chat comments, but I'm probably behind on them. Okay. What's the next slide? You have to remind me which order we decided to put them in.
Sorry, I'm going inside the screen now.
Which one is it?
Skeleton.
Okay. For our next drink, we have to perform a magic trick. We have our very fancy flask of wine.
Did you say wine?
Drink some water.
That was the real stuff. That was wine.
We joked about making a drink for the skeleton, and then we thought, well, water. Water is the drink for the skeleton. So the next character that we are going to make a drink for is the Red Bull. Now, we struggled a little bit with this drink because first we thought we should do a Caesar, except my assistant refused because she really hates Caesars. Then we thought we could do something. A lot of people told us we should do something with Red Bull, but I do not advocate drinking alcohol with energy drinks. It's not a great idea. So we didn't want to do that. We did not want to encourage that. Then we went to Costa Rica in the summer. Yes, we've been working on this since before the summer. And we found a drink that is called the Chili Guaro. It's the national drink of Costa Rica. Look it up. It is basically a Caesar, but without clamato juice. So it's like cilantro and onions and tomato juice. And they put it in a glass, and it's with their local sugar liqueur, but it's not a rum. And it's delicious. But when we looked up recipes for it, it required a lot of putting a bunch of onions and cilantro and stuff in a blender and blending it. So we were not able to, we didn't think we'd be able to do that in this panel. We didn't want you guys to have to go through that in order to make a delicious cocktail. So then we heard from a friend, again, at a different Christmas party, that he was drinking tequila with cranberry juice and cayenne pepper all night. And we went, that sounds like a Red Bull drink. So that's what is inspiring this one. And for this one, I will use the shaker. So I'm going to add some ice to it. I'm going to pour ice in the shaker. We're going to start with an ounce of grapefruit juice, an ounce of cranberry juice, an ounce of tequila, about a teaspoon of lime, which I'm going to use a different teaspoon than the one the cinnamon was in. That seems like a problem waiting to happen.
And cinnamon would be fine in this drink too.
And then a little bit of fresh ginger. So I've just chopped up a little bit of fresh ginger. It's about a quarter teaspoon, which is probably more than you need. And a little pinch of cayenne pepper. And when I say a little pinch, I mean like less than 1/8 of a teaspoon. You don't want to put too much in. It will overpower the whole drink. You just want enough to give it a bit of heat. The cayenne pepper is pretty powerful. So I just pinched a little bit between my two fingers there. And then this is totally optional, but we were looking for bitters for a friend of ours at Christmas, and we found black pepper bitters, and we thought, well, that just sounds like a Red Bull drink. So we're going to add a little bit of black pepper bitters.
Are you going to start pressing peppers?
And then I'm just going to close that up. Give it a bit of a shake. Is everything back to working properly after our tiny fiasco? Excellent. And then we're going to pour that out into a shot glass. And we have a beautiful red drink that is also pretty spicy and delicious. This one would also probably be delicious if you just leave the tequila out. So if you want to make this one as a mocktail, I'd be curious to know what the outcome is. Also, now enjoy having an entire thing of cranberry juice in your fridge that you don't know what to do with, because that's what's going to happen with us. The other thing we wanted to do with this Red Bull drink was literally light it on fire. As you can see, the Red Bull, who is sort of the lackey of the bad guy in the movie, for those of you who are not familiar with the movie, he's literally on fire. So we wanted to light the drink on fire. So we tested a number of ways to light the drink on fire. And what we learned, for your information, is that in order to light alcohol on fire, it has to be more than 60 proof. It's not actually the alcohol that lights on fire, it's the vapors coming off the alcohol, which makes it pretty dangerous proposition. We also didn't really want to have alcohol that strong in our house. So we decided that we were not going to buy that and try it. We were able to get a tiny, tiny flame off of the strongest alcohol in our cupboard, which is a vodka, but it would not have shown up at all in the video. Most of the time when they light drinks on fire, there's some kind of gimmick involved, like a little bit of lighter fluid inside of something on top of the drink, not actually lighting the drink on fire. So don't do it at home is kind of what we learned. And also it's harder than it seems, and you probably don't need like the Everclear, which apparently you can't even get in Canada. So not something we were able to do for you. So enjoy the compromise instead. And then, yeah, moving on. So this is the moment you guys are all waiting for, right? This is why you came here, for the unicorn cocktail. It's the cocktail of the last unicorn. There has to be a unicorn cocktail. So, oh, we have a fancy sparkler.
How about that?
We're going to use our fanciest glass for the unicorn cocktail, as you do. And we are going to start with an ounce of simple syrup. I don't feel like I need to tell you much about the unicorn character. She's the protagonist of the movie. And anything else I tell you is going to be a spoiler. So you can go watch the movie. And then we are going to add an ounce of gin, but we are going to be using Empress gin, which is this purple flower because it has pea flowers in it. So we will add that. And you can see that it is this gorgeous blue color.
You need to stand a little to the side. Your purple shirt.
My purple shirt is blocking the view of the color. And then
Put it probably about.
this is where the magic happens. All right. Are you guys all watching? Can you see that? Yeah, I think we're good there. So we're going to add about a teaspoon of lime juice to this. Whoa, magic! Now it has turned this beautiful amethyst color. I'm not sure how well it's coming through on the screen there. But yes, pea flowers, when you add acid to them, change color. And it's fun and magic, like unicorns. So then we are going to add an ounce of Saint Germain, which is elderflower liqueur. This liqueur on its own tastes like unicorns. Also, look at this bottle. Like, it looks like a unicorn bottle. And it is, it's really tasty. And it also sort of tastes like unicorns because it is sweet and floral. I recommend trying it if you haven't tried it. It's a bit more of an expensive alcohol, but it's pretty cool. And then we, of course, cannot have a unicorn cocktail without adding edible glitter. So we went out of our way to find ourselves some edible glitter because we didn't think we could do a unicorn cocktail without edible glitter. So you don't need a whole lot. It goes pretty far. My spoon is now very glittery. Where's the one I just used for the orange juice? That was. So I'm going to try to move that closer to the camera again. We're going to give this a bit of a stir. Look at how pretty it is. It's like there's a space cloud of stars inside the drink. I'm actually really impressed by how the edible glitter works. I fully expected that it was just going to kind of be lackluster or just change the color of the drink once, but it really settled in there.
It shows pretty well on just my phone screen where you're a 1 inch by 1 inch thumbnail. So that's good.
Excellent. Good to hear. And then, so this drink is a bit of a riff on a French 75 because we wanted something that was going to show off that color really nicely, but still be bright and light in flavor for this one. So we're going to top this off with some champagne. Also, because we're just really excited to be here at Kanji with you guys. So we're celebrating with a whole bunch of cocktails and also champagne. Woo! So now you're just going to top this guy off with champagne and then watch how the sparkles react to the bubbles because it's really fun. There's a reason we put the sparkles in before adding the champagne. The bubbles will keep those sparkles swirling around as the bubbles rise to the top. The sparkles keep moving. So it's a pretty cool effect. If you're using edible glitter, I recommend putting some sort of carbonation in it just so that you get this constant lava lamp effect. And this drink is also pretty tasty.
I wouldn't have made any of them if they weren't tasty.
We had to go through some iterations to get to a drink that was the color that we were looking for, as well as was something that we were happy to put in front of you guys.
And was also magical. We wanted to use the magic.
And was magical. It had to be magical. You can tell how much we tried because we bought this bottle of Empress Gin at the beginning of the season, sort of after last Kanji, because we knew we wanted to use this gin to explore. And the bottle is like, it's empty. It's basically empty. So this is how many times we have tried to produce a good unicorn cocktail. So, you know, be impressed. Now we have, what is happening over here? We have a bonus drink. I need to rinse the shaker out for it. So give me a second. Sorry?
I guess you're putting in the
To
shaker.
rinse the shaker out?
No, to make the thing cold.
I'm going to pour the rest of the Red Bull into a glass for you because there's tequila in it, and that would be a waste.
Yay!
There you go. Gloria said something. All right, I'm just going to rinse this out
Tequila.
because I don't want ginger in this next drink.
The Red Bull also gets spicier as it sits. So if you don't drink it right away, just be careful about that.
Yes, drink the Red Bull sooner rather than later because if you leave it sitting for too long, that cayenne pepper will continue making it spicier to the point where it becomes the only flavor in the drink, and then you might not want to drink it anymore. So we have a bonus drink for you that was a rejected unicorn cocktail. It is called the Regret because themes. We learned a number of months ago that ouzo has this really cool property where when you make it cold, it turns this milky color. And it's a really cool effect to have in a cocktail that you're trying to have this color in. I also need shots.
Make sure you still have lime juice.
Amy says to use the unicorn-shaped ice cubes in here, so I'm going to. It's going to make it better.
Fill them up.
I did already.
Yeah, but that was a lime one.
Unicorn ice cubes. So this is what ouzo looks like before it's cold. As you can see, it's pretty much just a clear liquor. But when you put it into a shaker of ice and give it a good shake, make it nice and cold. Look at what happens. It turns this really cool milky color. And so then if you add just a little splash of the Empress Gin to it, it turns blue. You can see it's blue now. And then we're going to do our magic trick again. So now if we take just a little bit of lime and add a little bit of lime to it. Here, let me hold it up a little bit. You can watch it turn purple. And now it is once again this color that just is perfect for a unicorn cocktail. But we didn't think that very many of you would be very impressed if we had an ouzo-based gin cocktail. It's an acquired flavor. It's not something that everyone likes. It's a very powerful anise flavor if you're not familiar with it. So we didn't think it would be much of a crowd pleaser, even though we really loved how this color came out. And I happen to really like ouzo. So cheers, everybody. We'll bring all of our signature cocktails back on screen for you. And the unicorn ones. So I hope there's something here to your liking. I personally feel that last year we found a few more flavor winners, but these ones are all ones that we were pretty happy with too. So feel free to share your thoughts with us. We can share this presentation so that you will have the reference recipes to look at. And yeah, come chat with us about any of them, or come tell us how you regret drinking all of these cocktails, even though we warned you at the beginning of the panel. Is there anything in the chat that I should respond to?
Most people are just saying cheers. Also, someone said the police, every little thing she does is magic. And I countered with the America, you can do magic.
America did all the music for The Last Unicorn, so extra points for that. The songs in The Last Unicorn, I mean, I love them. I think you either love them or hate them, but you can't knock America. They did all the music for it. Do you want to come on screen and show yourself?
I would.
I can thank you. Oh, she's very stuck under a cat right now. A very purry cat. So maybe I will just turn the screen around for you for a minute.
Sorry.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, and I approve your costume choices for this panel.